Every time we win a game, we get £10 million starting with this first match, which will be against Everton. And we don't win, but if we won, we could have gotten £10 million. But we do draw, which still gives us £5 million. So a win equals 10 million, and a draw is £5 million. And we need to earn enough money to make this team Premier League team champions by the end of Season 2. But we're starting with £0, so we can literally only use the money we make from winning or drawing matches. So I don't think 5 million is enough to sign a player. We still have a couple more matches before the transfer window closes, so let's see if we can earn some more money starting with Arsenal as our first match. And damn, another draw. I'll take that because that's another 5 million to our bank. Chelsea in the Carabao Cup now. These first matches are really tough, and we can't beat Chelsea, as expected. But final match before the transfer window closes is against Newcastle United. Can we get this win here? And damn, I don't believe it. We actually got a win, which means we get another 10 million. So we have 20 million in this first transfer window to improve this team. I think I might need to try and get a center back. And Laporte seems like a decent option. He's valued at around 18 million, so I think we can get him for 20. And there we go. Laporte accepts our deal and joins us. That's our first signing, and he's joining for 20 million, which means we are back to having no money. But at least our team is a little better for the next few months. Now the transfer window is closed, so all we can do is make money until January. So let's hopefully get some good results and earn some money. Our first match is now against Fulham. Can we get some money? And yes, we do indeed win, which means 10 million to the bank, facing Wolves, another opponent that we should be able to beat, and we draw with them. So still more money for us. This is going really well. Can we keep it up against Bournemouth? And oh my god, we're literally insane. Another 10 million just like that. Now for our next match, which is going to be against Tottenham. And okay, we couldn't continue this money-making streak, but a quick update on the table, we're actually on 8th, which is really good for Leeds United. And you know what else is good? Subscribing to my channel and helping us reach 400,000 before the end of the year, so please help me out, brother. Anyways, our next opponent is Burnley, another match with money-making potential. And damn, we actually lose. I didn't expect that. What about West Ham then? Can we beat them? Oh my god, no. This has suddenly turned bad. Maybe I jinxed it for us. Brighton is up next though. And there we go. Laporte wins it for us. What a great investment. We're now at November. 3 matches here, starting with Nottingham Forest, and we get absolutely destroyed by them. We're now facing Villa, which is also a tough opponent to beat. And as expected, we do lose to them. Then what about Manchester City? I would be surprised if we make any money here. And we lose it 3-1, which there is nothing really to do about. But now for December, which has a ton of matches. Starting it off strong with Chelsea. And we started off with a good old loss. What about a Liverpool then? We obviously also lose to Liverpool. But we might have a chance against Brentford though. No, we don't. We also lose to them. But we do finally get a win, which is against Crystal Palace. That's good. We can only draw with Sunderland, but that's also still some money for us. But we lose the final match of the month against Liverpool. We've now reached January, which means halfway through Season 1, and we're currently sitting on 14th in the league, which is all right. But we've made 50 million so far to spend on this team. Still not a lot, but I think it should be enough for 1 or 2 decent signings. Maybe a striker and center mid. I'm looking at Kante and Lewandowski. It would be insane if we could get them. Both are old, but still amazing. I'll try to get them. But for now, we first have a match against Manchester United. Another opportunity to make some money. But we can't. We lose it. But that's okay, because Kante has now accepted our deal to join us. And he is going to join us for only 20 million, which means we have 30 million left still. And that 30 million is just about enough to sign the one and only Robert Lewandowski from Barcelona. That now already makes our team look a lot better, and hopefully helps us earn more money. Our next match is against Newcastle United, and the new signings cannot help us beat them. But we do beat Hull in the FA Cup, only on penalties. But it's still a win. But we then go back to losing against Fulham. We do, however, draw with Everton, but then lose to Arsenal in our final match of the month. So that leaves us with 15 million pounds to spend before the transfer window closes. And the player I've signed for those 15 million is Pau Torres. So that'll give a small but decent boost to our defense. Now let's earn some good money for the next transfer window. We start off with Forest, and it's a draw, so I'll take that. Chelsea will be a little tougher to beat, but damn, we actually beat them. I did not expect that. We also defeat Bristol City in the FA Cup, but can't beat Aston Villa. Manchester City will be a challenge for us. And as I thought, we get destroyed and humbled by them. We even lose to Sunderland. But then we do get another win against Chelsea. We also beat Crystal Palace and then draw with Brentford. So we're now at April, 2 more months before next season begins. First, we're facing Portsmouth in the FA Cup, and we keep progressing there as we beat them. We even beat Manchester United, which is amazing, and then draw with Wolves, so still making money. But we're now facing facing Arsenal in the FA Cup semi-finals. And our FA Cup run ends there. We were actually doing so good. It's sad to see. But we're now at May, the final month. Can we start it off with a win against Burnley? No, we can't, but we do draw. We also draw with Tottenham, surprisingly. And even also to Bournemouth. This is incredible. But we then beat Brighton and then draw with West Ham in our final match of the season. So we end the season on the 12th, which is alright. But let's just get to the second season and actually get some improvements to the team. So we're now at the second season. We need to improve this team so that we can win the Premier League. And we have 105 million to spend. That's probably enough to buy 3 players or maybe 4 at the very maximum. I think we need a midfielder, maybe some fullbacks too. But let's just see what I can do. First player I've decided to buy is Rodrigo de Paul for only 30 million. I've gone with Ben White for right back for only 25 million. And with the last 50 million, I decided to get a left midfielder. And it's no other than Leverkusen left midfielder Grimaldo. Got him for exactly 50 million pounds. Our team suddenly now looks so much better. But we're not completely done with the signings yet because we still have these 3 matches before the transfer window closes. So let's start with United and see if we can beat them. And there we go. We beat them, so that's 10 million more so far already. We even defeated Fulham to get another 10 million. And we're now actually facing Burton in the Carabao Cup, which we also win, so another 10 million. But we ended on a draw with Norwich, so it ended up being 4 matches, not 3, but I'll definitely take that. And with that extra money, I've gone ahead and signed Leroy Sane for 30 million and Stefan Ortega for 5 mil because we needed a backup goalkeeper. So this is what the team will look like until January. I'm genuinely proud, but we still have one more chance to sign some players. But let's first make some money for that. Starting off with a match against West Ham, and we start off with a win. We then also beat Coventry in the Carabao Cup, and even Leicester City. We then draw with Tottenham, which I'll still take, but then beat Southampton. Here's a quick update on the table. We're actually second, so it's going really well. We might have chance as long as we continue this run. Now facing Wolves, and it's only a draw, which is not ideal at this stage. We now lose to Villa, and even to Port Vale in the Carabao Cup. Now that's genuinely embarrassing. How the hell do you lose that match? Anyways, can we get back to winning against Chelsea now? And yes, we can indeed. We also defeated Brentford and even Nottingham Forest, but we can't beat Everton though. It's always Everton. Anyways, we're in December, final month before we can sign our final players. So let's make some bank. Starting with Bournemouth. Never mind actually, let's not start with Bournemouth because we lose. Oh no, we also lose to Liverpool and then even get destroyed by Arsenal. Why has our form suddenly dropped out of nowhere? Can we win over City? No, but we do draw, which is better than nothing. We also draw with Newcastle United and even Crystal Palace. Yeah, this is not good, but we're now officially in January, halfway through, and we've dropped down to 8th, which is horrible. We do have 95 million to spend, but before we spend any money, let's first finish all the matches in January to see how much we can make in total. We started off with a draw. Why the hell are we drawing so much? We then actually lose to Norwich somehow, but we then do beat Millwall in the FA Cup. We can only draw with Crystal Palace though. And then we actually lose to Tottenham, but we do end on a win against Leicester City. So our final budget is 125 million to improve this team. The first player I've decided to buy is actually Fabian Ruiz for 50 million. I've got Oblak for only 15 million, which is a steal. And with the 75 million, I've gone ahead and taken Konate from Liverpool. Our team looks incredible. We might actually have a very small chance of winning the Premier League still. But there is only one way to find out, and that's by simulating till the end of the season. So let's just quickly do that and see how we've done. So we're now at the end of the season. Let's see if we have completed the challenge or failed. And oh my god, we finish on the 13th. That is one of the craziest downfalls I've ever seen. We did worse than season 1, so that's a horrible fail. But let me know if I should try this again with more money per win next.